Is spinning. Hello, my lovey. Welcome to another Joy du Jour. I am here with Wendy Paige Stirling. She is amazing. And we were just chatting about how craptastic the end of the year can be. And part of that is what? Our expectations and how we compare ourselves to others. Wendy, talk to me.
Hi, Melissa. I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, no, I mean, we were literally just talking about this, you guys. I mean, we're coming up to the holidays, and I feel like it's probably the biggest time of year where, it's sort of like a chest bump, like who's going to outdo who, or like who's doing what. And at the end of the day, I said it. I'm like, I think that comparison is the thief of joy. And I firmly believe that if we truly want to enjoy the holidays and to be in a place of joy, it's going to require each and every one of us to stand in the choice of joy.
Yes.
All you have to
Yes.
do is choose it, right? Joy
Yes.
is an attitude. And it is something that you can put on at any given
Yes.
time.
And I love going back to the old, like the acting analogies. Like there are two ways to get yourself into a frame of mind. You can start from the outside in, like a la the British actors who do Shakespeare. They have the physical mannerisms down, and then that's how they work into the character. Or you can use the American method acting, where you start from the inside and put it out. They
Right.
both work. There
Right.
are different, and there's tons of other different ways to do it too. And one of the things that may sound daunting is when you say joy is a choice. Yes, but I'm sitting here with my foot having been sliced and diced, and I'm in pain, and wow, wow, all of this is happening, and the world is a dumpster fire. And I get to focus my attention on what I can control, and which is only really what's happening in between these two ears, and in my heart. And I do get to select to have a joyous attitude and to keep my eyes open for the joy, because yes, the dumpster fires are all over the place, and so is the joy, so is the happiness, so is the delight. So and speaking about, we were just talking before we started about when you have a secular holiday like Thanksgiving. This is my theory. I'm not trying to rope Wendy into this. Um, as opposed to a religious holiday, it can feel more isolated because you feel like everyone else's family is doing the loving, warm, perfect turkey, perfect relatives, cousins who love each other, la 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 la. Well, that image is presented because we see each other's highlight reels. I'm not going to post a video of people humiliating each other or screaming at each other. And so I either may not post at all. Actually, I probably would just forget to post. But or like in my family, because there are adult children, who've got their own things going on, typically we don't even celebrate on the day. So Thanksgiving Day is like, sure, everybody's off of work, so that's great. But you were talking about, now what is it that you make at Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I make a prime rib because my kids do not eat turkey. And I can relate so much to what you said because, I'm divorced. So I have to trade off holidays every other year. And I always remind my boys that on the years that they may happen to be with their dad, we celebrate Thanksgiving typically the weekend, before is usually when I have them. And so we'll just do Thanksgiving or just really just a meal together. I mean, I
Right.
feel like, it's another one of those. Don't get me wrong. I understand the importance of the holiday and what it commemorates. And you can celebrate it anytime you want. So we'll do Thanksgiving on the day that I actually have them where I have time where I can cook this beautiful meal for them. But to me, it's not about, checking the box of, oh, you're supposed to eat turkey on Thanksgiving. Like to me,
Right.
it's really about it's what does the holiday signify? What does it mean for our family? What are the traditions that have really meant the most to me? And it's about family. It's about everybody gathering in my home. It is about
Yeah.
everybody sitting around the table. We're all running around every which way. One of my boys is now in college, but like, he's never home. And the other one's got
Right.
sports half the time he's at his dad's. And so it's like, it's the one night where we get to sit and be with one another. And really, it's about having gratitude. Like the
Right.
easiest way to tap into joy is through gratitude, because gratitude really brings us back into, this present moment.
Yep.
It enables us to focus on what it is that we do have, the blessings that we get to keep counting, right? Like, you're
Hmm.
holed up with your leg right now, but you can breathe, you still have the ability to speak,
Right.
you can sit here and do, thank God for technology, and you can sit here and hit record, right?
Yes.
And okay, you might be in some pain, and you have resources to support you in minimizing that, but you can sit here
Hmm.
and focus on, oh my God, my foot hurts. Or you can be like, you know what, it could be so much worse. I could still be in the hospital. Something could have gone wrong, right? And I'm
A
not
hundred
saying
percent.
going down rabbit holes, but just finding joy is really all about, especially in the holidays, it's about seeing the beauty of the people that you have and being in the present moment to just envelop yourself in that sensation. It's a feel,
Right.
it's that choice of creating that for yourself so that you feel it inside.
I agree 100%. And what I love so much about that is I'm not I'm what I call a recovering Catholic. So I was pretty traumatized by organized religion and I it's my spiritual journey is complicated. Just in the same way that like grief for someone who might have abused you is complicated because you're grieving the death of a person who harmed you and the potential that you could have reconciled,
Mhm.
the potential that they could have been the supporting parent or partner or whatever the relationship was. And so it is complicated. And I think that one thing that pop culture does not serve is the ability to see complexity. That's why I loved Game of Thrones. There were no uniformly good or uniformly evil characters. You could understand where everyone was coming from. And my hope is that that also allowed people to understand that yes, I can sit here in pain and have a fascinating conversation with you and connect with people who I can help, as their joy
Right.
visionary, as the person who can show them how to reprogram their mindset, especially as we're getting into year end. That's why I have a group program that I'm running through that wraps into the new year so that we can understand, yes, we can honor this ending of the year and the holidays and the gatherings and whatever you choose to do during this closeout of this year. And also, we can prep ourselves for success even in the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I live outside of Washington, D.C. It's a wreck here. Like, obsessed with the election is not, I don't throw that word around lightly, but it is just incessant. And so I don't need that extra backdrop of angst and pain. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
everybody's so tied up.
well, and the noise is always going to be there, right? It's so much
Yes.
about what I talk about, this, power in the pause and really tapping into your intuition. Like, you're choosing to turn up the volume on whatever, frequency is resonating with you, but you have the power to turn down the noise and to really instead tune into the people, the things
Hmm.
that bring these joyful sensations into your body, that, you don't have to get caught up. I think that so many times we're focused on the destination instead of
Yes.
really like looking around and finding joy in our journey.
Hmm.
Like, for example, for you, I mean, imagine what has been created or what love has been bestowed upon you, being holed up and not as mobile necessarily, right? Like,
Right.
find the joy in someone. I know your husband is probably doting on you, right? Like, enjoy every second of that. Like, why are you
Yes.
wanting to get up? Why are you wanting to like go make dinner? Like, let him do it, right? I
Right.
just,
Right.
I feel like we're always, it's what we were talking about before. Like, we're always looking at the glass half empty, and we're looking at what's missing instead of looking around and seeing what it is that we actually have. And all
Mhm.
that noise in the background, it's not going anywhere. It is still
Right.
going to be there. It's going to morph, it's going to shift. But what would shift if you started focusing on the things that are good about your life, about the day, about this moment,
Right,
right?
about the fact that we have medical care that can fix a problem with my foot that was keeping me from hiking, which is, I mean, that's how I commune with nature. That's how I connect with the divine,
Yeah,
is being out in nature. And I was not able to really do steps. It was,
right.
so lucky me. I've got a
Right.
few weeks of pain. All right, I'll punch that ticket.
Right. Because what's the end result, right? What was your
Yeah.
intention with having this surgery? It was so that you could go back out and hike. So, okay, so this is part of your journey, right? Like
Hmm.
this is part of the journey for you to get back, to the outdoors. And I feel like we are always in this like, fear of missing out, or, we
Ah,
want that instant gratification, the which I hate, like hustle culture,
ugh,
just push through, Mel, push through. Like,
do it. Yeah.
I mean, it's BS. And I again, things happen for us. And so if we're not pausing and we're not gifting ourselves with that moment of really reflecting on, how is this happening for me right now? Right? I'm not
Hmm.
saying that there's necessarily a lesson in everything, but there is something for you to go inside and to reflect
Yeah.
upon and to just be in it instead of being like, oh, I just want to get up. I just want to get out of this chair. Like,
Right, right.
you will. What is the beauty of being in it right now? So,
Yes, exactly. I've got like a sweet little arm weight routine that I've got going on. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like I get up and get on my little knee scooter and tootle about. Like you said, my partner is supporting me throughout all of this.
Yes.
And I also want to address like when we put value judgments on things and events and experiences, and they just are.
Yep.
My foot hurts because it's inflamed, because it's been, opened and reassimilated and, reassembled, and, everything is easing back into itself and growing back together. That just is.
Mhm.
It's not good or bad. It's going to ultimately, I will enjoy life more because I'll have, better mobility, and therefore I'm going to have a couple of months basically of very limited mobility. But bones heal in 8 weeks. That's a freaking miracle. Like I can revel in the gratitude of trying to imagine what all of my cells are doing while there's, lightning coursing through my nervous system. There's, ocean water in our blood. It's just so flippity flargan cool.
It is. No, I was just going to say, I mean, the human body is amazing. I always say it's body over mind, and our body is absolutely incredible. The ability for it to heal, I don't believe that we give it enough credit for the miracles. I mean, I remember even when I was pregnant, like just the whole thought of like how, the female body makes room, the organs shift to make room. Like the
Yeah.
body knows how to heal itself. And so when we try to control or speed up the process, again, like you're missing out on like reflecting in these moments of like, my God, like how amazing is this? Like how
Yeah.
incredibly advanced are our cells and our bodies that they're
Mhm.
able to regenerate and heal, and
So
it
cool.
just, right? It's like if
Yeah.
you just stop and think about it for a second, it is miraculous. And you know, God didn't bring us here to hurt us or to, create a horrible life. Like, we're really incredible humans. Like humans are incredible beings. It's really
Right. And I would say
fascinating.
that's independent of your faith, of your spirituality. Like we're here. It's just like, is it good or bad? Like, is it by God's hand or no? Whatever it is, we're here. And it's amazing. Like, we are all made of the same atoms. Like, we're mostly space, and yet we actually, I'm tapping on my laptop. Like, I can touch my fingers. I can feel that. Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shamoly. Like, that's just really, really cool. And we're complicated organisms that are also having a ton in common genetically with, all the other vertebrates. We're not all that different. We
We
like
are
to
not. We're
pretend
all
we
made
are.
of the same molecules. Hate to break it to y'all, but we are all made of the same stuff.
Yes. Oh, and I want to circle back to what you were saying about the power of the pause. And I know your work is highly intuitive and just absolutely amazing. If you get a chance to work with this lady, highly recommend. Just because I have, and she's amazing. Um, so tell me, when you pause, what are ways that you are more connected to yourself, to your gifts, to your power? Like, how do you reconnect into that?
Yeah, this was not something that came to me easily. I mean, let's be real. I'm a type A personality. I love being in control. I used to be somebody who was afraid of the silence. I think half of that was because I was afraid of what my mind was going to tell me or what my downloads were going to be in that particular moment. But what I have learned is the acceleration actually lives in the pause. I think that there is a false sense of acceleration when we stay in this doing, hustle, doing
Mhm.
energy, and it's really when we pause and we sit within our being, when we really reconnect with our breath and our heart center, and just really enabling ourselves to turn down the noise on
Mhm.
external and instead to really tune into the internal frequency, the internal vibration that's happening, and enable us to hear it. It is a whisper. Your intuition is a whisper.
Mhm.
And I call it sort of, for me, the way that I describe how I am connected to my intuition is it is my ability to connect in with my higher self, who is connected to the divine, God, call it whatever you want, universe.
Right.
So God speaks to me through my intuition. And so that is how I am able to receive what I know is always in my highest and best. Now, I can't hear my intuition when I am bouncing off the walls, or I am going from one Zoom call to the next, or I
Right.
am driving my car to go pick up one child and take them somewhere else, right? It
Mhm.
really comes back to creating these moments. And I think that we avoid it because either we think we don't have time or we're afraid of what it is that is going to come through. Mostly,
Yeah.
I think we just don't make the time because I think, it's so much about, I always say, like, you have control over your schedule. You have the ability
Yeah.
to carve out 1 minute, 2 minutes. Maybe you set your alarm 2 minutes earlier and you use those 2 minutes to just be awake and sit with your eyes closed and just connect in and use breathing. And, it's really just giving yourself a moment or two. Maybe it's a walk in nature. Maybe it's, sitting in your backyard for 5 minutes between calls. It might be
Right.
putting your bare feet in the backyard. Like, whatever it is for you that just gives you that moment to just be, to just breathe. And I don't mean just to breathe deeply. I also mean
Space.
exhale. Like, yes,
Yeah.
because the exhale is what actually creates the space. If you are not exhaling out what it is that you're taking in, your expansiveness is actually compressed. And the exhale is really what allows you to continue to expand and to open and to be in receipt of even more that is intended to come for you. I mean, prosperity, I call myself an intuitive prosperity mentor because your prosperity is literally waiting for you.
Yeah.
And it comes through your intuition, and you are all born with it. It's just a matter of learning how to reconnect in and to know the difference between your intuition and fear or your ego,
Right.
and to feel the difference in your body. Because once you do, it is like an addiction. It's like I am so addicted to my intuition because I'm like, ooh, what's
Yeah.
it going to tell me now?
It's so wild because I was so disconnected before I started my
Yeah.
own mindset change journey, and the ability to now just recognize when I know something, and I don't need to consider why or how, or I don't need to analyze it. I don't need to have like empirical science backing it up. Like, this is what my instincts, this is what's percolating in that lizard brain beneath all of the verbosity. Like, it doesn't,
Right.
this is pre-word. It doesn't have that. This is the direct connection from your brain to your gut. That's why it's called a gut feeling, you know? And so we do know things, and our brain is helping us put things together more quickly than we can understand the logic, kind of like talking to someone with ADHD, but I digress, as ADHDers will, you know, like you don't have to know the logic to understand that you do know what is the right thing to do at that time, or what is the better choice, or if this is a choice that you don't need to make.
Yeah, I mean, logic is actually, if your mind is connecting dots through logic, that's not your intuition.
No.
Your intuition comes down with a certainty and a firmness and a calm knowing
Yep.
that nothing else matters. It's just this, you just know it. You know, like,
Mhm.
and I, it's so funny. Like, I love flying on airplanes because, man, I don't know if it's the proximity to the sky and the universe and the stars and heaven, but I I get so many downloads when I fly on airplanes, like, and it just comes swooping in those moments, right? Uninterrupted. You have the choice now if you want to connect or not. I choose not to be honest with you, because I'm like, no one can find me. Oh, well, darn. Like, I'm stuck up here. But I get these like massive downloads. So, like, if any of you guys are traveling anytime soon, like, bring a journal, because I'm telling you, if you just give yourselves just to
Yep.
sit and listen to some music, or I love to listen to meditation music when I'm on a plane, and I just will sit there and just listen, and like these things just come in. And I had this download on Sunday. I was coming back from visiting my son at college for parents weekend, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just kind of like in it. I'm looking out the window because I had a window seat, and I'm like fascinated by clouds and shapes, and where are we in the world,
Right.
flying back from back east. And I'm looking out the window, and all of a sudden I just heard this download of a brand new program that I'm going to launch. And I just was like, oh, that is like, ooh, that feels good. And I just wrote it down, and I was like, okay, like, I hear it, it's in. You guys, this was 3 days ago. I'm still like waiting for more information to come in. And I'm not sitting here going, okay, so now what? What does it look
Right.
like? What am I supposed to do with this? Do I buy the URL? Like, what am I supposed to do? I'm
Right.
just like, it's sitting in my notebook, and I'm waiting for more information to come in. But I'll tell you, half the reason why it hasn't is because I haven't let myself slow down to be like, okay, like, let's tune in and see, like,
Right.
what is this about? And so, you know, instead of getting frustrated or wanting more or needing the
Oh.
how,
Hmm.
just be with it. Let it, give it, right? Give it room to breathe. Give it room to expand. You've got to allow the exhale to happen in order for that expansion to open up, so that you can receive more. Like, it is a process, you guys. Like, you can't just breathe once and expect everything to come down like a lightning bolt and like strike you with everything that you've been dreaming and waiting for. That's not how this works. It is a
Right.
practice. It is something that you have, you are, I was talking to one of my coaches this morning, and she said something brilliant, and I wrote it down, and I was like, damn, that's a mic drop moment. But, we are all living in our own projections,
Yes, 100%. Allegory of the cave, left and right.
right? And so if you are not breathing deeply, if you are not giving yourself room to expand, do you think anybody in your world is going to come in? Because there's no space for them.
Right.
How are you creating space for people to come into your life, for people to engage with you? If you have a business, like, maybe you're like slow on customers, like, you're not giving them space, right? So
Agree.
I just, it was such a profound statement that she made to me this morning, and I was like, damn, that's like a good one. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
yes, we are all literally living our own projections.
That is
And
gorgeous.
right, so
But
good.
yeah, that is an amazing place to stop. And I challenge you, the listener, the viewer, to understand. And what if you are, okay, maybe you doubt this is true, but what if the stories you're telling yourself are limiting you in ways that you don't quite see because you don't see things as possible? What if they could be possible? What would that be like? How would that feel? And I think that is a good starting point to opening up that space that you're talking about, Wendy, that
Yeah.
space that you can invite the other people, ideas, community, whatever it is that you're wanting, prosperity that you're wanting to invite in, because when you're running on the hamster wheel, you're busying yourself, and that's not conducive to accumulating anything. Well, except stress.
Well, yeah, that's not good for anybody. But
Right.
but it's but you can control that,
Yes.
right?
100%. Just even by just controlling your breathing. That's why
Yeah,
breath is such a beautiful metaphor.
it really is. I used to be like, "Pff, breath." And now I'm like, "Oh, I get it."
Uh-huh.
Right? It takes a minute, and, and I notice I tend to be a shallow breather at times, and I catch myself because I'm like, "Am I really allowing my diaphragm to, like, really expand and open up here?" Because I feel like I'm just shallow breathing, just trying
Yeah.
to get through the day, and I get it, guys, like, we're busy. We live in a fast-paced world, and no one's going to hand you space and time on a silver platter. Like, you
Right.
have to actually create it for yourself. Like, that's just the truth. Like, I'm
It
not going to
is.
BS you. Like, stop waiting for somebody to be like, "Oh, let me create a hole in your
Yeah,
calendar so you can breathe today." Like,
exactly.
do it
No, you get to
yourself.
choose. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
prioritize
choice.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Choose
100%.
joy. Make it your joy moment, right? Like,
Yes.
do
Absolutely.
it. I'm going to do it. That's what I'm going to call it now.
Yeah,
My
choose joy. Love it.
Yeah, choose joy.
Kick all the ass. Yes. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much for joining me. And
You're
I just want
welcome.
to refer y'all, Wendy Paige Stirling, intuitive prosperity coach. She's just amazing. So
Thank you.
till
Thanks for
next
having me,
time.
Mel.
Oh, you're so welcome, Wendy. Hugs, 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 my lovey.